What's up, guys? It's Chris here to break down this big, supersized boxing weekend. I know the video is a little bit late. Reasons for that: really busy over the last week and weekend, and also I kind of wanted to make sure I got this interview on the radio show yesterday before I posted this vid. A lot of fights, man. Three separate fight, things. I'm gonna start real quick with the Vladimir Klitschko fight. Only because I mentioned on Twitter yesterday. I said it's kind of strange, it's odd that, actually even a bit crazy, that the recognized heavyweight champion of the world is defending his title, and it's really, really under the radar. I had someone tell me, my friend Oscar say that, I'm sure it's not overseas, and I believe that's probably the case, but in the United States, you are hearing nothing about this upcoming Vladimir Klitschko fight. It's just being overshadowed by the fights on HBO and Showtime. That said, for a quick prediction, Vlad taking on Derek. I believe he's called Chisora. Don't know the correct pronunciation. The guy's British. Vlad's coming off that dominant win over Samuel Peter. Typical Klitschko brothers win. Those guys just been dominating everyone. Completely one-sided fights. Chisora coming off a TKO over Sam Sexton. I saw some of that fight on YouTube. I didn't see anything from Chisora that leads me to believe that he's going to have a chance of pulling off the upset against Vladimir Klitschko. Vlad's way bigger, got like a 5-inch reach advantage, height advantage, 7-inch reach advantage. I see this being a typical Vladimir or Vitaly Klitschko fight. Just dominant on the outside, using the jab, the 1-2, and wearing his man down. And eventually, once the opponent is worn down enough, going in for the kill. Hopefully we don't get a lot of the clinching. I know Vladimir likes to clinch whenever opponents get inside. He likes to grab them and lay on them. And the referees usually let him get away with it. Hopefully we won't see too much of that. I want to hope for an not exciting fight, but a somewhat entertaining fight. But I'm skeptical. But it just depends on what you like. The fight is on ESPN3.com, so I will be watching it. It's free. Why wouldn't I watch it? Just expect a dominant win by Vladimir Klitschko. Next up, we have. I think I'm going to start with the HBO card because the way I've been watching these bouts lately, there's so many on some nights, with boxing and MMA and everything. I've learned as of recently to watch the fights that you think are going to be the most exciting later, because when you watch something like, say, I watched the Zab Judah card from January or November before I watched Marquez Lopez, and that night ended on a good note. Watching Marquez Lopez last. But then a couple weeks ago, I watched, I believe it was Martinez Williams. I believe that was the same night. I don't recall. Maybe there was another show on that night. I don't remember. Or maybe Marquez Casitas. That's what I'm thinking of. I watched that first, and then watched Froch, Abraham, Ward, Bika last, and it kind of just fell flat after that exciting Marquez Casitas bout. So I expect the Showtime card to provide more excitement, so I'm going to probably watch the HBO one first. So that's just one I'm going to break down first. First fight of the night, you got Victor Ortiz taking on Lamont Peterson. Victor coming off a TKO win over Vivian Harris. Lamont coming off a TKO win over Damian Fuller. Never saw that fight. Lamont's previous fight, though, I did see a great, entertaining fight where he lost to Tim Bradley. Victor Ortiz, we all know about Victor Ortiz. Ever since the Maidana fight, there's been questions about him, but he's looked pretty solid since then. The Nate Campbell fight wasn't his best performance, but he did look good in the Harris fight. For what that's worth, Vivian Harris is damaged goods at this stage of his career. Lamont, I really thought he did well in the Bradley fight. Sure, he lost, but I thought he showed a lot of heart. He got knocked down. There was a couple times, and I was fortunate to be able to talk to him after that fight. I even told him, I thought that there was a couple times where the fight was going to be stopped. He was going to quit, just because of how the fight was going, but he hung in there for all 12 rounds and never quit trying. And, that's why I'm going to favor him in this fight. I know a lot of people are favoring Victor Ortiz, but when we've seen Victor face the kind of adversity against Maidana, he kind of folded under. I'm not saying that Lamont Peterson can put him in that kind of a fight or is that kind of a threat as Maidana, but Lamont has handled adversity a lot better, I think, than Victor Ortiz has. I think Victor's the bigger hitter here. As far as technical-wise, it's hard to say. Both guys are pretty solid. Give a slight speed advantage maybe to Lamont. But I expect a good fight. If it's on the outside from range, Either guy could win. Comes down to a slugfest. I favor Victor Ortiz. On the inside, I don't know, man. Lamont Peterson took a hell of some body shots and unleashed some of his own against Tim Bradley. So I'd probably give him the edge there. I think it'd be a close fight. Obviously, I would be not surprised in any way Victor Ortiz wins. But I'm going to favor Lamont Peterson to pull out a close split decision. Next up, got Amir Khan taking on Marcos Maidana. Amir coming off the win over Paulie Malignaggi. Paulie was talking a lot before that fight, but didn't really do much in the fight. Of course, you got to give credit to Amir Khan for that, for shutting him down. Marcos Maidana coming off a less than impressive, from what I've heard, win over DeMarcus Corley. Before that, I believe he had that victory over Victor Caio, who I picked Victor Caio to win that fight. So, anyways, this is a fight people have been wanting to see for a minute now. The intrigue, of course, being the fact that Amir Khan's one loss was a first-round knockout to British Prescott, and Marcos Maidana, if nothing else, is heavy-handed and got a lot of punching power. That said, I got to favor Amir Khan. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Freddie Roach, who trains Amir Khan, is as good of a matchmaker, in my opinion, as he's a manager. Obviously, he doesn't make the matches for Amir Khan and Manny Pacquiao, but I think he has a say in them. And I think he wouldn't take this bout for Amir Khan if he didn't think Amir Khan had the goods to win. As for Maidana, he can win, but he's got to catch Amir Khan. Hit him in that chin, which is somewhat questionable still. But Amir's got the speed and athleticism to keep him at bay. He's looking improved since getting with Freddie Roach. It's gonna obviously improve anyone. Plus, training with Manny Pacquiao doesn't hurt, right? So I expect Amir to play it safe, keep it a fight at a distance. Use, like I said, his speed. In the middle of the ring, I think he should really have a huge advantage. But if he gets caught in the ropes or the corners, that's where he's going to be in trouble. Maidana would be smart to try to go to the body early, to invest some money there, so to speak, to try to wear or slow Amir Khan down later in the fight. Don't know if he's going to be able to. Kind of depends on the size of the ring. I'm expecting a big ring because Golden Boy Promotions is doing the fight. So probably the ring's not going to favor Maidana's style. If Maidana catches him and clips him, could be over. Maidana, if nothing else, is going to put a lot of pressure on throughout the fight, but I just don't think it's going to be enough. I think Amir Khan's athleticism and speed is going to be too much for him. And I see Amir winning by unanimous decision. On to the Showtime card. The beginning of the Bantamweight tournament. Similar to Super 6, but less fighters. And it should play out a lot better, hopefully, than the Super 6 has up to this stage. First fight, IBF Bantamweight champion Gianni Perez defending his title against Joseph Agbeko in a rematch. These guys fought last year on Halloween. Great fight. I remember watching it live. Really exciting fight. Perez coming off the somewhat controversial win over Abner. Great fight. Regardless of who you thought won, it was a great fight. Agbeko, interestingly enough, has not fought since their first fight. Well over a year now. Honestly, that first fight was close, but I thought Perez won. And I think he looked really good in the Mares fight. And the fact that he's had a tough fight since then, tough fights can take something out of you, but they also can help you as well. The fact that Joseph hasn't been in the ring, accumulating ring rust, I just don't, I don't really think he's going to do, I don't see him having a better fight than he did the first fight after being out of the ring for that long. I think it could be another close competitive fight. But I actually think Gianni Perez is going to be a little bit more, win a little bit more convincingly. Expect a fight similar to the first one, but if you have seen it, if you haven't, pretty much a good war. Similar to Mares Perez. Good back and forth fight. Actually, it was a close fight. It could have gone, I'm not saying it could have gone either way, but you could make a case for Joseph Agbeko in that fight as well, or a draw. But I thought Gianni Perez pulled it out slightly. And I think he's going to do here so as well, but more convincingly. So I'm going to go with the Gianni Perez by decision. And now on to the fight that I think is the main event of that night. On Showtime, Abner taking on Vic Darchinyan. Mares, as already mentioned, took on Gianni Perez in his last fight. Lost a close decision. A lot of people thought he won. I thought he won. It was a really close fight. But, if him and Perez both win, they'll get that rematch. And I know that's something a lot of fans want to see. Vic Darchinyan, 3 straight wins since losing to Joseph Agbeko. That's the crazy thing about this tournament is some of these guys have already faced each other. Mares Perez, Perez Agbeko, and Darchinyan Agbeko. But all those fights were good. So even if we get these rematches and stuff, I expect good fights. So it all depends on how the tournament's going to shake out. But I don't think we're going to get a bad fight between these 4 guys. I just don't see it happening, regardless of how the matchups play out after this first round. Anyways, as for Mares Darchinyan, Mares, like I said, looked really good against Perez. That was his first real big test. And I think he passed it with flying colors for the most part. Just showed a lot of heart and a lot of guile in that fight. As for Vic, the loss to Agbeko was his first fight up at bantamweight 118. I thought he looked a little bit undersized there, but if you look at the measurements, I mean, him and Mars are the same height, pretty much the same reach. I do think Mars is the naturally bigger, stronger fighter, but man, Vic Darchinyan, if nothing else, got a lot of power. I mean, I'm not saying he doesn't have anything else, but he does have a lot of power. One of the pound-for-pound biggest punchers in the game, in my opinion. Awkward style, hard to train for, but I don't know. I just think Abner Mars is a little bit too technically sharp. I mean, obviously, Vic, his game doesn't rely upon technique. It relies on just aggressiveness and power. You know, just having a style that just gives guys problems. But I favor Abner Mars here. I think it'll be a close fight. I think Mars has got to play it safe, though. You know, he really went to war with Perez. I don't know if he wants to do that here, you know. Mars has shown a solid chin in the past, but like I said, Vic's got the power. He's got that eraser. And why take the chances there if you don't need to? You know, if you can outbox your man, you know, just do it. You know, like Nonito Donaire did to Vic Darchinyan before stopping him. So I'm going to favor Mars in this fight. I think if he sticks to a smart game plan, he can win. I mean, Mars is a Mexican fighter, though. Eventually, he's probably going to get the best of him. He's going to get in there and go toe-to-toe at times. Hopefully, for his sake, it doesn't cost him the fight, which it very well can. But I am going to favor Mars to pull out a decision here. I think Vic, you know, tough guy. He got knocked out by Donaire, but that was like almost a perfect punch he got caught with. Plus, you know, Donaire's got that speed that Mars doesn't quite have that kind of speed. I think that helped that punch as well. So I expect a close fight, tough fight, but I'm going to go with Abner Mars by unanimous decision. On the radio show this past week, Science Minds Radio on Sunday, I had Frank Espinoza Jr. from Espinoza Boxing. The management team of both Abner Mares and Yanni Perez got a little bit of insight as far as, you know, their training, how things are going, and just a little bit on his, you know, their involvement in Mares and Perez's relationship and stuff. Also got a little update on Israel Vasquez and stuff. So be sure to go check that out. Put a link to the information part of the video as usual, as well as a link to my Twitter. That's pretty much it for now. Hopefully I didn't go over the 15-minute time limit because I don't want to shoot this video again. But yeah, that's it for now. Let me know which fight you guys are looking forward to the most, which card you think's better, HBO or Showtime, because you might be looking more forward to Maidana Khan than anything else, but you might also think the Showtime card's better. So what's the fight you're looking most forward to? Which event are you looking most forward to? Do you have any interest in the Klitschko fight? Do you think his challenger stands a chance? And yeah, that's pretty much it. Be sure and check out the radio show, Science of Violence, every Sunday. I'll be talking about these fights afterwards, the day of, or the day after. And check me out on Twitter if you're interested. Links in the information part of the video as always. Till then, guys, I'm out.